Hey, my name is Matt and we here at Kaitak. I'm really excited to tell you the history of this amazing airport, sixth most dangerous airport in the world. Laurie says, hi Matt, long time no see, I've missed everything lately. You haven't missed anything, don't worry, everything is on YouTube for you to watch. Okay, so let's start with the name Kaitak. It got its name from two businessmen who actually bought this land, Sir Ho Kai and Mr. Tuck. And the idea was to build a residential housing on the land where this airport sits. Unfortunately, they failed, and the land was subsequently used for an aviation school that opened in 1924, and it was called the Abbott School of Aviation. Now, as Hong Kong grew and developed, they needed to have a international airport. So in 1957, the Abbott's School of Aviation became the location for Hong Kong International Airport, or as it was known then, Kai Tak International Airport. And as time went by, the city around the airport developed. You can see today with skyscrapers all along in every direction that you look. And so the airport that was once quite isolated became completely was suddenly, there were buildings everywhere, and the city skyline that was once clear for planes was now surrounded by high-rise buildings. But this also gave it a very dramatic location. So being so close to residential areas, this is the sort of thing you would see in your neighborhood, because the airport was so close to the city. If you were a pilot, man, it was really, really difficult to navigate. And so that's really what made it the sixth most dangerous airport in the world. Now today, Kai Tak is no longer an international airport. The international airport has been moved onto the island of Lantau. It's now far away from any obstructions. It really is. Lantau is the least most populated island according to its size, and so it's the ideal place to have an airport. And in fact, they've created the airport on islands off Lantau. They've taken two islands, flattened them, and they learned all the lessons from having this dangerous airport. Now I just want to point out to you what Kai Tak has become today, and you can see it right in front of us. Kai Tak today is no longer an airport, but they still see large volumes of travelers, and that's because Kai Tak today is a cruise ship terminal. And so we're really lucky right now, because right in front of us is a cruise ship coming in, and the people here will get off shortly and go through customs and passport control. But so still letting in, still a way for people to come into Hong Kong, still being used in a similar way. Really, really cool. And aren't we lucky today to see this cruise ship coming in? Amazing. Okay, let's continue. Now we're going to go inside the building, and we're going to go up to the next level. But I just want to give you a chance to take a postcard or two. Now the building itself has been converted, and there's beautiful gardens. Who would have thought of beautiful gardens now on top of the old airport and its cruise terminal? So it's very creative. In fact, you can see here, it's a very unique location, which it's used for weddings and for events. I'm the type of person that likes unusual things, so I think it would be really cool to have your wedding here in Kai Tak. Imagine saying I had my wedding at an old airport. Just, it sounds really cool. There were 15 incidents, and in those 15 incidents, over 218 people lost their lives. Probably the deadliest incident was on the 24th of August, 1965, when the US Marine Corps flight lost 58 passengers out of 71. So I just want to give you a peek in. This is where people come through when they come into Hong Kong or leave. Almost like we're at an airport. We're just going to go up to the top, where you're going to have a beautifully landscaped garden. So what made this airport the most dangerous? Oh, can you hear that lightning and thunder? So the reason all had to do with the approach, particularly for the approach for runway 13, and this was known to pilots as the checkerboard approach. And the reason why it was called that was because the pilots, when they were flying into Kai Tak, had to look to a hill that looked like a checkerboard. So there you can see there's a sports field below, and then there was the checkerboard hill. That was their sign that they needed to do something very dramatic. The pilot would be flying over the city. He would look for that hill, and after that he would need to make, and this sounds crazy even today, he would need to make a 47-degree right turn to line up with runway 13. And within a distance of 4.7 kilometers, or about 2.9 miles, at a height of about 200 meters or 218 yards, gear to land. So imagine that, you're already very low down, and you've got a very short distance, just under 5 kilometers or just under 3 miles, and you have to land. And so that's what made it so dangerous. It was very, very technical for the pilots involved, and a big reason why it was so dangerous was that it was difficult in itself. But when you had like bad weather, like a typhoon, hurricane, and visibility was near zero, that's really when things went wrong. Now, during the final approach, after that right-hand turn, the plane flew sometimes just 10 meters over the apartment buildings where people lived, and people on the plane, they could see into people's apartments and vice versa. So the planes got incredibly close, and imagine if you were living in that apartment, every time a plane flew that coast, the building would shake. But it also created some beautiful photos, so I'll share with you some more photos of the airplane coming over. So very dramatic. This is the plane coming over Prince Edward, which is a district in Hong Kong, and you can see just really dramatic, coming very close to the highway over there. This is what the airport looked like from above. There you can see runway 13, very thin, very narrow. The airport closed in 98 and the last flight was to Heathrow. But one of the more interesting accidents that I found was it happened during a really bad typhoon or hurricane. This was on the 4th of November 93 with China Airlines. So it was a really, really bad day, and there was gale force winds, it was a typhoon, and the pilot was desperately trying, flight number 605 was desperately trying to land with like virtually zero visibility, and he slightly just overran the runway during the typhoon, and the wind was gale force at the time, and despite that unstable approach, the captain did not go around again. He wanted to land, was desperate to land, and so he did touch down on the landing strip, but it was only about 2/3 of the way down of the runway, and he was just unable to stop the plane before the runway ended. And there you can see that the aircraft ended up submerged beyond the runway. Now, fortunately, in that case, there were only 23 minor injuries, but amongst 296 passengers and crew, and there were no deaths. Now today, the rooftop of the airport now is a beautiful rooftop garden, and not many people really know about this. It is kind of a difficult location to get to. Like I've taken a boat, which I'll have to, a ferry, which I'll have to go back. The ferry only comes every hour, so at a certain time I'm going to make my way back to where the ferry was. Or you could take a bus, but they're not. Both forms of transport aren't very regular, so it's a little bit forgotten about by the rest of Hong Kong, and so it's really cool to come here. I always used to see it, and I always used to wonder, like, what is that building? It looks so strange, and then I eventually came here and was amazed to learn the history and what an amazing space it is. I just want to give you a dramatic look over at Hong Kong Island and Kowloon. We've got Kowloon on the right hand side, Hong Kong Island on the left, and you can just get a sense over here of just how long Hong Kong Island is. There we go, beautiful shot. Let's go. We're going to go down one level, and did you get a postcard of that one? We're going to look over at it's called the Airport Park. And we can't really see it too well here, but I'm going to stand up on the ledge here so you can have a better look. There you can see the old park. It's still COVID isolation, although it's not being used because no one's being isolated because of COVID anymore. And then part of the park, which was the runway, is the airplane that you can see right there. We'll zoom in. There, you can see it there. So that was a mail plane. Used to bring letters and packages to everyone from overseas. If you're not subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. And we were just really, really lucky with the weather today. We had great weather. It's supposed to be lightning and thunder and all of that, but we've just had it clear for the time we're here, so we were really lucky.